What is going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Daily Energy Newsbeat Stand-Up here on this gorgeous Thursday, February 9th, 2023. As always, I'm your humble correspondent, Michael Tanner, coming to you from an undisclosed location here in Dallas, Texas. I was able to stay dry yesterday. I'm about over this rain, so something's got to give here, guys. But as always, I'm joined by the executive producer of the show, the purveyor of the show, and the director and publisher of the world's greatest website, EnergyNewsbeat.com, Stuart Turley. My man, how we doing today?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Was it as rainy up north where you're at?
Oh, it has taken out the road. I can't get out. It's fun. Me and
Well,
Noah,
you probably actually like that.
I do. And me and Noah are buddies now. I got the arc going on, man.
I did not realize in moving here it rains so much. Like, you do not get this much rain in Colorado. You get maybe 1 or 2 days where you'll get a little bit of rain, but this is like flooding down here.
Yeah. My road's washed out.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. But Stu is surviving to bring us some great stories, and we have some absolute bangers today. First one on the list: what's behind Iran's and Russia's effort to link banking systems? Dun, dun, dun. I'm sure there's something spooky in there. Stu will tell us about. Californians Newsom seeks federal probe into soaring natural gas prices. Could we be this dumb? But we'll unfortunately have to cover it. The next, think a balloon with 3 hypersonic missiles would nuke the U.S. Well, it was tested by China in 2018. Would you shoot them down? If that title doesn't tell you everything about that article, I don't know what else will. Stu will give his thoughts on what this Chinese balloon means. Next one we have is welcome to the global recession. It began in December last year. Oh, just fun. And if you're wondering, the image on Energy Newsbeat for this is a great one. He'll kick it over to me for finance. We had crude oil storage numbers drop today. I'll cover that. We had a pretty wild day in natural gas prices, up then down. We'll have to talk a little bit about what happened in the State of the Union last night. We'd be remiss if we didn't cover that.
I got my opinions.
And then we will talk. I'm sure we're all wondering what Stu thought of the State of the Union. I'm pretty sure we're all wondering what side of the fence you're going to come down. So we'll figure out Stu's opinions. I'll also then cover BP. They had some interesting comments in their earnings call, along with some stock buybacks, and we will cover what I think that means, and a bag of chips, guys. But first, check us out. The world's greatest website, EnergyNewsbeat.com. Via the description below, you can find all the links to the stories we're about to talk about. I kid you not, it is the best place for all of your energy news. We have some big stuff in the works, guys. So just hit our website, like, subscribe, whatever the kids are saying nowadays, do it, please. Stu, though, enough of the pleasantries. Where do you want to begin?
You'll never see me on TikTok. Okay. Let's go to.
Come on, let's get you on TikTok.
Heck no. Okay. What's behind Iran and Russia's efforts to link banking systems? Michael, this is really, really critical because both of them have been taking out of SWIFT, which is the Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, or SWIFT. And so they're bringing up SPFS, which is the Russian equivalent of the Society of Worldwide Interbanks. And so what this means is you have open trade season now between Iran and Russia. Now remember, Iran really learned how to avoid sanctions. And then our buddy Putin, who I do a lousy imitation of, is, hey, I can do better. So now that's a cross between Putin, Fonzie, and Sopranos. Nice.
Exactly.
So, and so when you take a look at this article, it's frightening, Michael, besides our imitation of Fonzie, who's imitating Sopranos, who is imitating Putin. So,
yeah.
That it now says, this is critical. Iran says several dozen of its financial institutions can now connect Russian banks In other words, 100 banks from other mostly 13 Eurasian. Here's the part they're not talking about, Michael. This article has a big hint in here, and that is going into BRICS. So now you have these monetary things coming in, and India is buying everything they can, not in the US dollar. So this is really a big thorn in, again, the coffin for the US dollar. So
Okay. So
I'm going to move on.
I think this is interesting. I don't think it's scary. I don't think Russia and Iran creating a new financial. How much commerce are they doing between themselves? And who else is going to get on board with
it's
this?
a step, Michael. It's a step. BRICS.
Yeah, I mean, who's
okay,
next?
quit whining.
North Korea's going to join next. You're going to get the Congo on it. I mean, there's no reasonable global players would ever join something like this. Now, if China joins something like this, then you're in trouble. But China would never do that because they would then lose access to the actual SWIFT. So they're not dumb. They're not dumb.
You have a roundabout and a pathing, kind of like an Ethernet in a switch. You drop SWIFT into an Asian country, and a bank transfer happens into those other ones. You're missing the point in how important it is for trade. All of a sudden, trade happens through SWIFT, and this is now, and then you add in BRICS, and this funneling of money is a huge deal.
Yes, we're going to have to slightly agree to disagree. I see your point, but at the end of the day, what this SPFS, all it's doing is allowing Russia and Iran to do commerce between their banks between themselves.
Read a paragraph in there, Michael, and it says other Asian countries. Those other Asian countries, and I have good sources, don't I, Michael?
Yeah, I know you have good sources.
Those other Asian countries are members of SWIFT.
Yeah. I'll see it. This is one of those where it's like, I'll see it when I believe it. You know, like today at work, someone was trying to tell me they know an oil well that's doing 4,000 barrels of oil a day. And that's one of those numbers where it's like, I'll see it when I believe it. That you can show me all the data you want until it's printed in front of me. I'll see it. I'm not putting this in that outrageous of a category, but I'm not going to go quite heavy on this. But for the interest of time, we must move on. What's next?
Okay. The balloon, me and that balloon. So hang on. We're going to cover this for about 2.5 seconds. Okay. I enjoyed getting trolled. I love me a good troll on Twitter. Love it. And when I put this out there that people are saying it's no big deal, let's wait for the thing to go across the country. Yep. Tomcat was called up, and he was in an F4 over Idaho 50 years ago, and these things were being done. 2018, okay? Right. If this balloon was going over all of our military bases, and it's going over all of the grid and across the whole central United States, the most populated areas across the central United States, guess what happened? That's most of where the US grid is, okay? Yep. This article has a video linked to it that also shows this test of 3 hypersonic nuclear capable missiles successfully launched from a balloon. You get another balloon in here, and guess what? You drop that in the center of the United States into the grid, you got us a broken up US in chaos. Here's one more thing. The head of NORAD said, NARAD. Well, that's a terrible way to talk. NORAD said he did not know that they were there. He did not know that balloon was there. And he said, we have a gap in our notification system. That one frightened me like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I mean, here's I'm absolutely with you on this. I mean, it's absolutely insane that we've gotten to this point, and it's I I don't even know what to think. We literally let a Chinese balloon float over the entire country. Who knows what it gathered? Who knows what they've gathered? So,
all right,
it's a little weird that we've gotten to this point where yeah, whatever.
Yeah. One last thing. It picks up radio signals, cell phone towers, locations of the grid, communications, and underneath pipeline and underground military airports. Oops. Okay, let's go to the next one, dude. Rock solid. Okay. The global recession. You got your head down. Go ahead and hit your head against your microphone. There's some interesting stats in here. We're going to go very quickly on this, but Michael, do you remember 2 years ago? I was saying you print money, inflation happens, right? What was your comment? No. I bring it up again.
No. That is a complete mischaracterization.
Tell me your version, and I'll tell you my version.
Show me yours, and I'll show you mine. No, that is my assertion 2 years ago was inflation was not necessarily around the corner, but that doesn't mean that it's a shock that it's here. We were talking about 2 years ago, everybody was screaming for inflation. It was like, well, it's not here. So it's like with oil prices. Everyone's screaming that oil prices need to be 100, that natural gas prices need to be $5. Well, just accept in real time that it is what it is. And when finally your assertion comes to 2 years later, you can't sit there and ride the coattails of being wrong for 2 years. So I never said printing money doesn't cause inflation. That's an idiotic thing to think. And I don't think that because it's true.
I'm going to pull the tape and we're going to play the tape.
Pull the tape.
Pull the tape. Pull the tape. Move that bus. Okay. Global recession, Michael. There is some good data in this one. When he was saying, let me put this, there are limits to the amount of spending that can continue and savings are being drawn down. There's just some things in here, Michael, that are like, I wish people would pay attention to monetary policies, anyway. Now
my issue is with this whole talk of a recession is inflation is high. Completely agree with you.
Right.
But unemployment is still very low. That I think is the one thing holding back a full stop recession. And until we see unemployment rise, I think that's what's going to hold back the kind of the floodgates of a recession, if you know what I mean.
I do. Let me agree with you, and I'm going to agree to disagree with you. Okay. Energy has taken such an important first role that energy prices have caused inflation in ways that it has not in the past. Now, jobs are really rolling in, and it's people have forgotten that they're having 2 and 3 jobs. They're also missing a bunch of information. The numbers folks admitted that there's some false numbers in there.
Yeah, okay.
So hang on. So we are in a situation. I know you're banging your head against the microphone going, oh my goodness. I love it when you and I differ opinions, Michael. I just absolutely love it.
I love it. It's just hard to hear everything's a conspiracy because it's like, then what's real? What's real?
It's not a conspiracy. I'm telling you what other people were saying on this, and I happen to agree with them.
I feel you. I have read some solid stuff on that. There has been some fudging, to say the least, on the unemployment number. So I agree with you. But the posted unemployment number, you might be right on this one, but it's still low. So but if everybody knows they're screwing with it, why are we still above 4,000 on the S&P? Is that just, I mean, we need to be down. The recession starts. We need to have huge drops. So I'm not saying we're not entering in a recession or not, but to say this is like worse than 2008 is an overstatement, because it hasn't happened yet. When it happened, you know what I mean?
It has, and I'll tell you why. And we'll go into it another time. There are only two times now that the GDP has been, it was World War II, and now the GDP have exceeded, oh shoot, I forgot the number, but we are in a situation that we haven't seen since World War II.
Cool.
So, okay, let's go.
I'm not disagreeing that we're not in a situation that's unique, but the question is this unique situation going to lead to a massive recession? Yes, probably, but has it started? We're close. I don't know. Maybe.
Can we agree on one thing? There is
Maybe.
so much going. Maybe I love it, Michael. Yay! There is so much going on that we're in new territory. You're right. And in new territory, the old definitions, even though I was teasing the Biden administration by recreating definitions to, they change the definition every day. I'd like to open it up and say, recession, smession, we are now in definitions of a global economic disasters that we haven't seen since World War II.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So okay, cool. I will agree with you on that.
Cool. Let's go to you and finance, and then we can talk about my beloved speech that I think we need to cover.
Yeah, we'll cover finance really quickly. Oil currently trading 78.44 as we record this on February 8th, the night before at about 6:30. Really, again, buoyed by Fed Chair Jerome Powell's comments yesterday on being a little less hawkish on interest rate increases, which would be absolutely critical in order to help support oil prices at this level. So I think we saw holding here, like I said, at about 78.40. Interesting day for natural gas. We were all the way up to 265, now currently trading about 243. Yeah, talk about a seesaw of a day. Again, with the expectations of a light storage, of a light draw, which means, ample supply out there. I think that's really staving off a lot of the nat gas bulls who were hoping to drive it above, $3. On the crude oil side, we did see crude oil inventories today. They checked in at 2.4 million barrel draw from the crude oil, the strategic patrol, or from the Cushing crude oil storage. So great to see there. Again, just continue to stabilizing oil prices. We have plenty of demand things to keep sorting out, but it's good to see us with the big draws. I think the only other thing that would be interesting to cover is BP. They did drop earnings, and I thought, while having record profits conveniently for a large oil producer, their shift from talking heavily about renewables and now focusing their shift a little bit into oil and gas has been, I think, the topic over the past couple days. It isn't the first day these earnings dropped. They dropped 2 days ago, but with us missing yesterday's show, I felt it was important to cover just a little bit. They did beat earnings expectations by 28%, but they came out and after floating in the Wall Street Journal on Thursday of last week that they were definitely going to shift back into oil. Bernard Looney, their CEO, came out and confirmed that in his earnings call, announced more share buybacks. And again, I think it's interesting how all of these different companies are going about marketing it. But really what I want to do, Stu, is get your thoughts on the State of the Union last night. I mean, mine are brief. I didn't watch. I saw the clips. The clips were as bad. I assume the clips were as bad as it sounded. It's hard to say if anything he says is true.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And I only want to say two things. For him to stand up as the president of the United States and say that Republicans are wanting to get rid and defund Social Security and get rid of Medicare and Medicaid is a bold face lie. One Republican made a comment and even said it, and that was probably he was a rhino. And so when you sit back and constitutionally, I mean, the whole thing by law is set up independently of our national budget, GDP, everything else. It is independent. You can't get rid of it. Let me throw this at you. During the Trump impeachment, Nancy Pelosi pulled millions upon millions out of Social Security to pay for Trump's impeachment. Bull hockey on him saying that in this thing. The other thing that I applaud is that we do need more conversation together to unite this country. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, is this Turley 2024? Is this the launch of Turley 2024?
Heck no, I got way too many skeletons in my closet.
We don't want to know what those skeletons are. So on that happy thought, guys, we're going to let you get out of here. Start your day. Again, we appreciate you checking us out here on the Energy News Beat. For Stuart Turley, I'm Michael Tanner. See you folks on the other side. Picturing Stu in his underwear.
Ooh.